Today we are chatting about what to do if your gym doesn't have the equipment in your program, or maybe it broke, something like that. What to do? What are you gonna do? One more minute. One more minute. All right, cool. Let's do it. Just at work. Hopefully I can be here for it all. It'll be on replay, Brand. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't get in trouble at work, man. All right. What to do if your gym doesn't have the equipment in your program? How do you go about that? Don't panic, right? Don't panic. You're supposed to do a lat pull down, but for whatever reason, you can't do the lat pull down. Sometimes the gym is too packed, you're in a rush, the machine broke, or it's a completely different lat pull down because you're at a different gym because you're out of town, right? What do you do? Don't panic. What matters most isn't the exact machine or cable, but the stimulus you're applying to the target muscle. What is stimulus, right? Like the activation, the tension going to the actual muscle we want to grow. That that is what matters most. Muscles don't know the name of the machine or even what the listed weight is. They only know tension. That's it. Okay. So step one when picking a substitute exercise, know what muscle you're training, right? Before you sub any exercise, ask yourself, what muscle or muscles is this exercise targeting, right? The one that's in your program. What muscles is this targeting, right? So that's step one. Is it a horizontal or vertical movement, right? Which way is it? Am I pulling vertically, horizontally? What's the direction that I normally do this exercise in? And then is it a pushing, is it a pulling, or is it a hinging movement, right? Hinge is like an RDL, right? You're bending at the waist. So those are three things you want to ask yourself. What muscles is it working? Is it a horizontal? Is it vertical? Is it a push, pull, or hinge? Examples of that, right? Cable flies, right? Doing cable flies, target your pecs in a horizontal, right? Because you're flying like this, horizontal, versus like this is maybe vertical. Well, cable flies going like this. They're in a horizontal adduction pattern. And then lat pull downs, right? Hit the lats with a vertical pull, right? We're talking about vertical lat pull down, cable row, horizontal, right? Slightly different parts of your back. Some examples. Step two, match movement pattern and direction, right? So find an alternative that trains the same muscle group in a similar movement direction. Like I mentioned, push, pull, hinge, anything like that. So here's some examples, right? A cable row, you're rowing horizontally, hitting your back. A good substitute, a machine row, right? You can do machine row or a barbell bent over row. Still working the back in a horizontal direction. Why it works, hits the lats, rear delts, mid back, and it's the same direction, horizontal. Cable fly, good substitute, machine chest fly, right? Get on that pec deck. Still isolates, still hits your chest, your pec muscles in a similar horizontal path. Lat pull down, again, vertical, hitting your back, your lats. Good substitute, pull-ups, if you can do one, or like a machine lat pull down. Again, same direction, same vertical pull for the lats. On the legs, a leg press. Good swap, right? Leg press broke, someone's on it. Cool, no big deal. Don't worry. Ideally, I do want you to stick to the leg press, but again, this is shit happens. You're in a rush. It broke. Hack squat Smith machine. Again, quad dominant, bilateral compound, meaning both legs at the same time. And okay, now let's talk about like what makes a good exercise. What makes it an exercise a good one to do? Use these four, let's say, pillars to judge any substitute exercise other than what we just talked about, direction wise, those sorts of things. But number one, does it actually hit the target muscle, right? Main goal, put the intended muscle under tension. Bicep, right? You do a cable curl to hit your biceps. No matter how cool it looks, if you don't feel tension or burn in that muscle, now again, you don't need to feel burn, but you need to at least feel tension. Tension is like the muscle's going to rip off your bone type of thing. It's if you don't feel tension or burn there, it's not the right exercise, right? It ain't the one for you. They ain't the one for you, okay? Number two, is there stretch under tension? Exercise that load of muscle in that stretch position drive more growth, right? Marginally, a little bit more growth. Examples, RDLs for hamstrings, right? When you go down, you bend, your hamstrings are in under tension with weight, right? Underweight. Another example, low incline curls for biceps, right? They're at the bottom of bicep curl on the low incline, ton of tension. Number three, is it stable? The more stable you are, the harder you can train that muscle, right? Instead of like having to worry about balance, all your effort and energy goes directly to that muscle. Machines can give more stability, but free weights are great if your technique is dialed in. Just a little bonus tip there. And then number four, is it easy to overload, right? To grow a muscle, you need to progressively challenge it more, right? So is the exercise easy to overload? Can you add weight or reps over time pretty easily? If the movement is hard to progress, it may not be, right? It may not be optimal long term. One example would be just like if you're trying to do a bicep curl with like holding a dumbbell, it's not very easy to overload necessarily because like your wrists get tired if you add weight, those sorts of things. And then your biceps are going to suffer because your wrists are getting tired instead. Step three, use RIR to gauge weight on new equipment, right? So if you switch to a different machine, a new lat pull down or hack squat, the weight won't match what you're used to, and that's okay, right? It's like, Anthony, you told me to do 13 reps at 100 pounds on the lat pull down machine, but I can't do the lat pull down machine. How much weight do I use, right? Don't get caught up comparing numbers, compare effort and stimulus. Now, what that means is how I'd go about it is I'm going to go ahead and try to match. I'm going to try to match whatever weight I was supposed to do, see how it feels on a warm set on this new exercise. If it's like way off, if it's like way off, then I'm going to adjust the weight till what I feel is appropriate. And then I'm going to use RIR, reps in reserve, to actually set the weight. And again, the exact rep range doesn't always matter as long as we're in the 5 to 30. So you're going to use RIR. So pick a weight that leaves you with 1 or 2 reps in reserve at the end of your working set. If you feel like you could do 10 reps but stop at 8 with 1 or 2 reps in the tank, you're good, right? You're good. That's how you break it down. This helps you stay in the right intensity zone regardless of the machine or brand, right? Even some cable tensions vary because there's 2 pulleys, 1 pulley, those sorts of things. Use RIR. At the end of the day, if you're not sure, it's not a perfect comparison, use RIR, stop 1 or 2 reps shy of what you think failure is. Bonus, if you need to sub, avoid paralysis by analysis, right? Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Sub something close and just move on if it's a one-off. If you do notice that you're having to swap sub pretty frequently for whatever reason, try to keep that swap consistent, for that training block, 4 to 8 weeks to track that progress. If the substitute feels better than the original, you might want to make it permanent. That's something we can have a conversation about. If you notice that is the case, you're like, oh, Anthony, this cable curl, man, my biceps feel like they're about to rip off the bone. It feels so good. It hurts so good, right? Tell me those things. Don't waste time hunting for perfect. Just find stimulus, stability, and progression. Key takeaways. Focus on the muscle, the movement direction, and the quality of how you execute that rep. Use the 4-pillar test to pick smart alternatives. Track your progress. Stay consistent as always. And don't worry about the exact weight or setting on the machine. Focus on the intensity. Okay. Beautiful. Questions. Who's got questions?
Okay, here, Anthony. For me,
Yep.
I find myself, I always try to leave at least one rep in reserve
Mhm.
so that I know next week when I do that exercise and I go up one rep that, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can hit it. But there has been times recently where I'm actually maybe falling one rep behind and not having one in reserve.
Mhm.
Could that just be pretty much any given day, um, depending what you've done that day, or really how you're feeling affect that? Yes.
Oh, absolutely. If you're even a little dehydrated, you didn't drink enough water, that significantly impacts your perception of intensity, which is why I'm not a huge fan of coaches or other people just giving you always an RIR, right? Because you have a bad day and go into the gym, and you just don't feel it that day. And if you don't have a benchmark, you don't have a number, right? That you know you roughly can do, you're gonna be like, this is good. 1 hour IR. So those things happen, bad days happen ultimately, especially I'll get to this in a second, but those bad days happen. But if you don't have a benchmark roughly, which is why we do the progressions, which is why we track our weights, how you feel can make a big impact on how many you actually do, just your perception. You're exhausted, didn't eat, those sorts of things. You're less likely to push yourself. Now, as Brent, you're getting more and more advanced. You're learning how to do these exercises better. Your understanding of your true RIR is improving. And so maybe 2 months ago, what you thought 2 RIR was maybe like 4, right? So it was a lot
Yeah.
easier to just add a rep, add a rep, add a rep, versus now you really do know what 2 RIR is. And so it's
Yes.
harder to progress week to week,
Yeah.
especially. So yeah, that's why I tell you, give me that feedback.
Yeah. 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 I'm very detailed, I think, in my notes when I send them.
Yeah. But again, don't feel like it has to be perfect with like I have to do 1 RIR. Like on some exercises, biceps, delts, side delts, especially rear delts, I'm good with you failing on them like every week. If it's like quads, you're failing all the time, a big muscle that taxes the shit out of you, not a great idea to always go to failure. But like smaller muscles, push it, push it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Good question. Any others?
I have a question.
Yeah, what up?
So there's times that I will do like a muscle group, and then like yesterday, and the fatigue was like all over the leg, right? And I know it was supposed to focus on the hamstring. So today, yes, my hamstring is sore, not everything else. So the question is that when the whole thing is fatigue, how do I know I'm working the right muscle?
Sorry, ask that one more time that you muffled out.
Sorry, if the whole so yesterday was like I think glutes. I was working my hamstring area,
Yep.
and when I was doing the exercises, like the whole leg got fatigued, the whole leg got tired.
Uh-huh.
So when I'm doing it, how do I know that I'm targeting the right muscle?
So are you saying like how do you know if you're actually getting tension in like your hamstrings or something like that?
Right, right. I mean, so today I could feel it. Right, today I could feel it in my hamstrings, so I know that I did it right. But in that moment when I start to get tired, I stop because the whole thing is tired, not the hamstring.
Yeah, in that case, it's hard to necessarily isolate in like more of a compound movement, just the hamstring. And as you continue to get more advanced, your mind muscle connection to a muscle will improve too, and your ability to be like, okay, this really is hitting my hamstring a little bit better. It also could be a technique thing for you, like slightly tilting your hips a little bit more forward anteriorly might give you a little better activation and you might feel it more on the hamstring. But on like, let's say a squat or an RDL, hard to always feel like that exact muscle, like the hamstring is getting worked completely. Usually I like to say, do you feel like there's a stretch or does it feel like it's going to rip off the bone to an extent? It doesn't necessarily need to burn, but has to feel like there's a lot of tension going on. Not a clear cut answer for you, but like there's no way to like really tell.
Okay.
But
Is there
the
is
fact
there a
that you-
place?
the fact that you soar the next day, good indicator that you did hit them pretty well.
Okay, cool. Is there a place on the app that says this muscle is supposed to be targeting this, like a picture of it? That works really well for me.
Not in the app specifically.
Okay.
If you have questions on it, please ask me though. Like, what is this? If you have no idea what the machine is targeting, I definitely want you to know. So ask me.
I usually Google that.
Damn it, Brant. That's what I'm here for.
But when I'm in the moment, I'm like, okay, I want to know what's supposed to hurt right now while I'm doing this.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
At least that Planet Fitness, it tells you
On the machine.
right on the machine.
Yeah. Well, sometimes those are iffy. I've seen some that I'm like, this this doesn't. Cool. No other
Yeah, I just tried to say something positive about it. That's all.
Purple Palace. Cool. All right, guys. That's it. No more. We're done. Have the best day of your entire life. If you have questions after the fact, please shoot me a message and we'll go from there. Peace.
Peace.